What we're going to do now is work rows of single crochet. I've got my yarn over on the right hand side now because I'm right-handed, because I'm going to work that way. If you're left-handed, it'll be over the other end. Now the reason I said to start on the edge is when we do our joins for our next lot of rows, you want them to be on the side. You don't want them right smack bang in the middle of your bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a stitch marker. What are the odds that I've got one sitting here? Oh, I do have one. I've got a bobby pin. I'm going to put that in there, and that's going to remind me where I've started when I come back around. So now we're going to work rows of single crochet, and this is going to be the foundation to where we're going to put our handles. So I've still got the same size hook, and I'm going to be working single crochet, so that's just straight into the stitch, no yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over and pulling through two. So it's going into the stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, and going through two. We're going to work this all the way around. Like so, and we're going to keep going until we get to the stitch marker. So after we've worked one row of single crochet, we're going to swap that hook out and we're going to grab our smaller one. You can see how much smaller they are. So put that back in, and I'm actually going to change colour, you know that? You do now. Where's my favourite blue? Absolutely love this blue colour. So we're going to cut the one, that older yarn, get rid of that one. You don't have to change colours here, I'm just doing it because I want to. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then grab the new colour and pull through. I'm going to work single crochet in each stitch around, and I'm going to put that back in there. And what we're going to do is you're going to work between 5 and 10 rows depending on how thick you want the top of your bag. Okay, so work about 5 to 10 rows, and you can leave your stitch marker in now, and if you leave that in, every time you come back to it, it'll remind you that you've done one row. But if you leave it there and don't move it up the rows, you'll know how many rows you've done from the stitch marker. So single crochet around for about 5 to 10 rows. I've completed my rows of single crochet, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows all together. You can do as many rows as you like there, that's completely up to you. And you're going to cut your yarn and finish off where our stitch marker is. My stitch marker's there. So I know when I come back on this side that that's when we've completed a whole row. So I'm going to finish that off. Now that's just my stitch there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to poke him through so he's out of the way. Go into the next stitch, and I'm going to make a slip stitch like so, and then pull up. Now to add the handles, what we need to do is lay our bag flat, so you can see my bag is flat. Then we're going to talk properly would help. We're going to decide how wide we want our handles. I don't want my handles very wide, so I'm probably going to do sort of, say, I don't know, 6 stitches or so wide. Now on the corner here we can crochet over part of this, but we are going to need to sew in the rest. So because your bag is folded in half, that is the halfway point, so we can actually grab our stitch marker, and where it's folded there, put it on the stitch on the fold. Now I do have a few bag videos, so you could use some of the handles out of those bag videos, but I'm trying to make different handles on each bag so that you've got a lot of variety. So because we've marked that stitch, we know that is the center point on the edge of our bag. So we need to count out the same amount of stitches so that our bag handle is the same width and is centered and looks good. So if our stitches here, count out as many that you want. Don't forget you've got to count out the same amount on the other side, so that's how wide your handle is going to be. So I've got one there, so I want 1, 2, 3. I'm actually going to go 4 out. If that's there, so is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you've got the center stitch, and then there's that one. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's how wide my handle is going to be. So it's probably just over 1 inch wide. So grabbing your yarn, you can change colour if you like. I'm going to use the same colour. I've got plenty of this colour, so I can use this one. Do a chain 1 just to secure that yarn in there. We're going to single crochet into the same stitch. Single crochet into the next lot of stitches. So I had 4. So from this center stitch we want to count 4 that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, where that little lippy bit is there. So I'm going to take that stitch marker out. I'm going to put it there. That will remind me to stop doing my handle. So working across. So my last mark stitch there, take that out, and I can go into here. So what I would probably do is count how many stitches you've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know when I make my handle that I have to have 9 stitches the whole way. If you've lost a stitch somewhere, you're going to need to find out where you did it and then add it back in. So when you get to the end, we can chain 1. Then we're going to turn our work, and I've just got to turn the whole bag, so excuse me for 1 second. And we could actually work over that tail again if you need to. So going into the first stitch, we're not going to count our chain 1 as our stitch. We're actually going to go back into that stitch, and I'm going to work over my tail. So back into that stitch and work a single crochet. I find if you actually do a stitch on the end with the single crochet and the half double crochet, it gives it a nice edge. Also, when you come back on the next row, it's easier to find the top of a stitch than it is the top of a chain 1. And that is where you're going to lose stitches if you miss that last stitch. So in each stitch across, we're going to single crochet. Single crochet is a tighter stitch, but you could use a half double crochet stitch or double crochet. Don't forget, when we're making our handles, we want to make them a little bit shorter than what we need, because crochet stretches. Unless you're going to line your handles, they're going to stretch, so you want to make them a bit shorter. Depending on the yarn, it will depend how much it's actually going to stretch. So I'm just working 1 stitch all the way across. I've got my last stitch here. Okay, so going into there, my last stitch, chain 1, turn it around. Just going to have to move the whole bag around. Sorry guys. Oh, I'm bashing your bed all over the place today. Alright, so that's our chain 1, doesn't count as a stitch, so we need to go back down into here, and I'm actually going to work over that tail again so I can hook you up there. And we're going to repeat this until our handle is long enough. Now you can do the handle one of 2 ways. You can keep crocheting until it's long enough and we can join it over the other side, or you can make it half as long as you want, then join on the other side and make another handle the same length and then sew it together at the top. Just depends on how you want to work it. So we're just working all the way across, and I think after this row I can cut that tail off because I've just worked it quite a few rows. So don't forget your last stitch, which is here. I'm going to make sure I've still got 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, I do. And don't worry, I do have those days when I lose stitches and I go, that's not right. So I'm just going to cut off this one here because that's just my tail. Get rid of you. So repeat that for the remainder of the rows. Chain 1, single crochet all the way across. Chain 1, turn, single crochet all the way across. And I will meet you when I have a handle that is longer than ½ an inch. I have finished my strap, so it's over here. It's on one side. So I've decided to just go with the one big long strap, and then we're going to join it over on that side. So my strap is about 14 inches. That's probably about 35 centimeters long. What we're going to do is make sure it's not twisted. We're going to join it over to the other side. Okay. And what we want to do, we want to turn our bag inside out. So turn it inside out. Now this is, I'm going to use the single crochet joining method. If you're going to whip stitch it together, you won't need to turn it inside out. Ooh, a little bit there I need to snip off. Okay, I'm just going to do this off screen because it's a lot easier. I'm trying to struggle on screen. So turn your bag inside out and lay it flat again. So making sure it's nice and even. Making sure up there your handles are even so that both edges meet together. That's how you know your bag will be flat. Picking up our corner edge, putting in our stitch marker on that end stitch. Grabbing our strap. Wish you could see what I could see, because it'll make it easier. All you can see is what's on the screen. Okay, so what we need to do is find our crochet hook. And remember how I had the center stitch and then I had 4 on each side? So I've got 9 stitches all together, so that means you've got 1 in the middle and then 4 on each side of it. We're going to join that here. So the one that goes in the center needs to line up with our stitch marker, and the 4 on each side will line up to the 4 on each side here. So making sure your strap is not twisted. Okay, so making sure that's not twisted. Hang on, I just have to untwist my strap. I've accidentally pulled out a stitch there, so we'll just pop that back in. The beauty of crochet, we can just put it back and no one's noticed that it wasn't there in the first place. And you're going to need the yarn over this side, of course. And picking up the bag, you're going to have, so that's where all your stuff would go into the bag. So you're going to have the opening of the bag facing you like that. And then this is the, even though it's inside out, forget that it's inside out, and that's the outside of the bag, and that's the inside of the bag, okay? Do you get what I mean? Can you really see that on camera? Like I said, sometimes it's hard. So that's where all your stuff goes. So we've got our piece of work sat like that. There we go, crochet hook. Now I need to count across 4 stitches here because our centre one had 4 on each side, so that's our centre one. So counting across 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So do that again because my finger was in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got my hook into that one, and I'm going to work a slip stitch. Pull that through, making sure that's quite tight in there. Don't leave it all loose because it will notice. We're going to single crochet into the strap. So this is my strap and the back bit is my bag. So single crochet into the strap. We're going to slip stitch into the bag, so getting the next stitch across, working a slip stitch, okay, why is this not working? Haha! Working a slip stitch, working single crochet into the strap. It is quite awkward how I'm sitting. This is a lot easier to do on your lap. So finding the next stitch, working a single crochet, working a slip stitch, single crochet into the handle, slip stitch into there, single crochet into the handle. I'm just going to take my stitch marker out, and because we're working this inside out, see how there's like a tiny little ridge forming there? That will be on the inside of our bag, and the other side will, you won't be able to tell, just like magic. So we need to slip stitch into the bag section, making sure you go through both loops. That's it. That'll give it a better, firmer join. So single crochet into the bag strap. We're going to continue this all the way across. So you're always slipping into the bag and crocheting into the handle. So one last slip stitch into there. And we are going to work a slip stitch round around the bag, but I'm actually going to change colours so that you can see what I'm doing, and I think it also will look really cute. So I'm going to cut my yarn. If you want to work slip stitch row, and what the slip stitch does is stops the handle from stretching and the opening of the bag from stretching. So if you don't want it to notice, use the same colour, but I want it sort of as a decoration feature, so I'm going to cut that off. And now we can put our bag in the right way. Just going to do it off screen. Like I said, it's a lot easier. And where did we join our bag? This side. See how there's a little ridge? I don't know if you can tell. It's like a little ridge here. That's the inside of the bag. But if we flip it out, oh, look, magic. It's as smooth as anything. Now I actually found that out by fluke. I actually did it the other way just before. And when I joined it, we'd had that little bumpy bit on the outside. But then when I looked at the inside, there was nothing. So, hey, let's work it in reverse and we get the smooth bit on the outside. So I just learnt something today. I learn something every day with crochet, to tell you the truth. So that's that section. Handles are looking great. I'm going to grab another colour yarn. This is a dark colour, but it won't matter for the video because I'm only working a slip stitch. And if you've made this whole bag, then I am sure you know how to do a slip stitch. So we can start basically anywhere. And what we're going to do is around the opening. So around one side of the bag, and then around one side of the handle. That's where we're going to put our slip stitch. You can start anywhere you like. I'm just going to start on the straight bit across the top of the bag there. Putting our yarn over our hook, pulling through. Leave a bit of a tail at the back, about 2 inches long. Pull through. I just like to pull down on the back section, and that makes that nice and tight in there. So what we can do, we can work the slip stitch into the single crochet like that. Work a slip stitch, don't pull too tight because we don't want to make the opening of our bag even smaller. So just really loosely, just working our slip stitch. You can work your slip stitch like so, or if you want to, you can actually go into the slip stitch around the into the single crochet, sorry, around the back of the single crochet, out the other side, and work a slip stitch, or do a couple more of these so you can see the difference. So into the single crochet like normal, around the back, around the other side, like that. With a single crochet stitch that we're slip stitching onto it, it is a little bit harder to get in between the stitches. So I'll just work that, and you can see the difference. So this one, the slip stitch is at the front of the bag, where the other one is sort of like more at the top. Only by a little bit because this is a single crochet stitch. Now I think I'm going to use the one that goes in between the stitches, so I'm going to pull that back out. That's just the differences that you can do. You could even go into the front loop only, you could go into the back loop only. The slip stitch can go wherever you want it to go. I might still have to join like that though. We want this to be poking towards us, don't we? So, see, we're learning again. We'll need to sew that in later. So that needs to be at the front. That's different, isn't it? Normally it's at the back. So, into the next stitch. There's 2 things we've learnt today. Again, we don't want to work these too tight because it will make the bag start to pucker up and it'll look funny. Might take you a bit of practice if this is the first time that you've done surface slip stitching. I have done it once before, or twice before actually. So I kind of know what I've got to put on my tension. So that's looking cool. And it gives a little pattern on the other side too, which is good. And what we're going to do, we're going to work all the way around, and I'm going to work across to my handle and then we'll show you on the handle. I'm up to the handle section, so I've gone across my bag and we're up to the handle. Does that make more sense? Okay. So there's it back in. And I'm going to just work up the side. Oops, I've just changed what I did there. Sorry, forget that last bit. Because I'm going in between stitches, aren't I? So I've got to go like that. So you're going to work like this all the way around the outsides of your bag, and you're going to do the same on the other side as well. Okay, so I'll meet you when we finish our slip. I have finished my bag. I've finished all my slip stitches around the edge. I've just added a flower to mine because I think that makes it look really pretty. The flower is the Dahlia flower by Kinga from My Hobby Is Crochet. I will put the link below. There is a video tutorial and also a written pattern that goes with that, so I'll put all the relevant links below in the description box. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this bag, using up lots of scraps. As you can see, I've got a lot of blue scraps. Well, I did have a lot of blue scraps. Please share your creation on our Facebook page and also our Google Plus page. Please subscribe, as there will be plenty of more videos to come. I hope you have a fantastic week, and until next time, happy crochet.